Kunja Bihari.
Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari.
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari.
Yodanandana Vraja Ranjana.
Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana.
Yodanandana Vraja Janaranjana.
Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana.
Yamuna Tira Vanajari.
Yamuna Tira Vanachari.
Yamuna Tira Vanachari.
Yamuna Tira Vanachari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Hare Krishna.
Jai. Thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Jai Vishnupad, Pramhamsa Pribrajagacharya, Ashtodhara Shata, Sri Srimad Shila Bhai Charnar Vinda Bhaktivedanta Swami, Shila Prabhupada ki Jai, Swamaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. Om. So I think everyone can do unmute and we'll chant the Mangalacharan together. Okay, everyone can unmute yourself and we'll chant the Mangalacharan together. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshururmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manoram Apitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadatisha Padantikam Vande Aham Shri Guru Nijuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavansya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatharantam Tam Sajivam Tadvaitam Savadhutam Purijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakanitamsya Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunnavadi Pacchatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpataru Vasakripa-sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanang Pavonebhya Vaishnavebhya Namo Namaha. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
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 Rama, Hare
Rama Hare
Rama,
Rama Rama
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So today we are reading from Adi Leela, 4th chapter. Text, Rachanamata, did you remember, is 33 or 34?
Prabhuji, I don't remember Prabhuji because my bookmark is on 28. But I went back and read again all the shloka.
Okay. Okay, so we'll do on 34. It looks like because my mark is there on 33. So we'll do on 34. Anugrahaya bhaktanam manusam dehamashritah bhajate tvadrishah priya jvah srutya tatparo bhavet. Anugrahaya bhaktanam manusham dehamashritah bhajate tadrishah priya jah sruta tatparo bhavet. Okay. Mahāprabhu, could you read the translation in English?
Sure, Prabhu. Krishna manifests his eternal human-like form and performs his pastimes to show mercy to the devotees. Having heard such pastimes, one should engage in service to him. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Shasta Mata, could you read the purport on the first paragraph?
Sure, Prabhuji. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Okay.
This text is from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10.33.36. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has innumerable expansions of his transcendental form who eternally exist in the spiritual world. This material world is only a perverted reflection of the spiritual world, where everything is manifested without inebriety. There everything is in its original existence, free from the domination of time. Time cannot deteriorate or interfere with the conditions in the spiritual world, where different manifestations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are the recipients of the worship of different living entities in their constitutional spiritual positions. In the spiritual world, all existence is unadulterated goodness. The goodness found in the material world is contaminated by the modes of passion and ignorance. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you. Rachana Mata, did you take the English purport?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, please.
The saying that the human form of life is the best position for devotional service has its special significance because only in this form can a living entity revive his eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The human form is considered the highest state in the cycle of species of life in the material world. If one takes advantage of this highest kind of material form, one can regain his position of devotional service to the Lord. Prabhuji, shall I read?
Yeah, continue, please. Next paragraph also.
Incarnations of Supreme Personality of Godhead appear in all the species of life, although there is a inconceivable to the human brain. Although this is inconceivable to the human brain, the Lord's pastimes are differentiated according to appreciating capacity of the different types of bodies of the living entities. the Supreme Lord bestows the best merciful benediction onto human society when he appears in his human form. It is then that humanity gets the opportunity to engage in different kinds of eternal service to the Lord. Special natural appreciation of the descriptions of a particular pastime of Godhead indicates the constitutional position of a living entity. Adoration, servitorship, friendship, parental affection, conjugal love are the 5 primary relationships with Kṛṣṇa. The highest perfectional stage of the conjugal relationship, enriched by many sentiments, gives the maximum relishable mellow to the devotee. The Lord appears in different incarnations as a fish, tortoise, a boar, and boar, as Parshuram, Lord Ram, Buddha, and so on, to reciprocate the different appreciations of living entities in different stages of evolution. The conjugal relationship of amorous love, called prakriyarasa, is the unparalleled perfection of love exhibited by Lord Kṛṣṇa and his devotees. A class of so-called devotees known as sajiyas try to imitate the Lord's pastimes, although they have no understanding of the amorous love in his expansions of pleasure potency. Their superficial imitation can create havoc on the path for the advancement of one's spiritual relationship with the Lord. Material sexual indulgence can never be equated with spiritual love, which is in unadulterated goodness. The activities of sahajiyas simply lower one deeper into material contamination of the senses and mind. Krishna's transcendental pastimes display eternal servitorship to Adhokshaja, the Supreme Lord, who is beyond all conception through material senses. Materialistic conditioned soul don't understand the transcendental exchanges of love, but they like to indulge in sense gratification in the name of devotional service. The activities of the Supreme Lord can never be understood by Prabhuji, is my sound is coming?
Yeah, your sound is coming. Yeah, you go ahead. You are mute, Rachana Mata. Unmute yourself, please.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, now it's good.
Okay, Prabhuji. The activities of the Supreme Lord can never be understood by irresponsible persons who think the pastime of Radha and Krishna to be ordinary affairs. The Ras dance is arranged by Krishna's internal potency, Yogamaya, and it is beyond the grasp of the materially affected person. Trying to throw mud into transcendence with their perversity, the Sahajiyas misinterpret the saying Tat Paratvena Nirmalam and Tat Paro Bhavet. By misinterpreting Tadarshiha Kriyaha, they want to indulge in sex while pretending to imitate Lord Krishna. But one must actually understand the imports of the words through the intelligence of the authorized Goswamis. Sri Narottam Das Thakur, in his prayers to the Goswamis, has explained his inability to understand such spiritual affair. Rupa Raghunath Pade hai be akuti, ke be ham bhujaba se yugal vipriti. When I shall be eager to understand the literature given by the Goswamis, when I shall be able to understand the transcendental love affairs of Radha and Krishna. In other words, unless one is trained under the disciplinic succession of the Goswamis, one cannot understand Radha and Krishna. The conditioned souls are naturally averse to understanding the spiritual existence of the Lord. And if they try to know the transcendental nature of Lord's pastimes, while they remain absorbed in materialism, they are sure to blunder like the Sahajiyas. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna Ram Hanuman Prabhu. Welcome.
Hare Krishna Prabhu Dhanavad.
So we are in verse 34 on 4th chapter Adi Leela. This is one of the very, very nice verses. And Srila Prabhupada gave a very nice explanations. These verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, 33 chapter, verse number 36. So these verses are ultimately are giving why the lords have to take the form of a human being. What is the reason the lords have to come over here? And when the devotee are hear about that Lord came as a human being, the devotee eager to serve him. Many times, Srila Prabhupada gave very nice purport, which purports are mentioning, there is a many times, many people, so-called God, they introduce their self as a God. And when they introduce their self as a God, and they do all kind of nonsense activities. These activities are normally Lords doesn't do. As Srila Prabhupada give the explanations about the how Sahajiyas are perform the parakriya, and they try to establish the philosophy on it. That this is actually you are learning from Lord Krishna. But ultimately, the scriptures are mentioning that Krishna and gopis have a unconditional love, and there is not a lust us connecting with that love. So that's why we have to be very careful in this material world that our love with the Lord in the same way as unconditional. But when Lord comes as a form of the human being, it's our duty to serve him. How? In Srimad Bhagavatam itself are mentioning, Jajanta hi shumedhashaha. Only the most intelligent people, intelligent personalities, they will worship that person who took the form of human being and appear in this earthly planet, material world. That is Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahāprabhu. And so this is just a beginning verses that Krishna Kaviraj Goswami are giving. So now it's even a little bit more on verse number 35. Bhavet kriyali vidhivat vidhiliko sheiha koi kottobya avashyo ei annatha prattavai. Bhavet kriya vidhiling sheiha koi kottobya avashyo ei annatha prattavai. Translation. Ramanujan Prabhu, please translation.
Sure, Prabhuji. Translation: here the use of the verb bhavat, which is in the imperative mood, tells us that this certainly must be done. Non-compliance would be abandonment of duty. Abandonment of duty.
First paragraph of purport also, Prabhu, if you could read.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. This imperative is applicable to pure devotees. Neophytes will be able to understand these affairs only after being elevated by regulated devotional service under the expert guidance of the spiritual master. Then they too will be competent to hear the love affairs of Radha and Krishna. As long as one is material conditioned life, strict discipline is required in the matter of moral and immoral activities. The absolute world is transcendental and free from such distinctions. Because there are inverity is not possible. But in this material world, a sexual appetite necessitates distinction between moral and immoral conduct. There are no sexual activities in a spiritual world. The transactions between the lover and beloved in the spiritual world are pure transcendental love and unadulterated bliss.
Thank you, Prabhu. Mayank Prabhu, could you read the next paragraph, please?
Sure, Prabhu. One who has not been attracted by the transcendental beauty of rasa will certainly be dragged down into material attraction, thus to act in material contamination and progress to the darkest region of hellish life. But by understanding the conjugal love of Radha and Krishna, one is freed from the grip of attraction to material, so-called love between man and woman. Similarly, one who understands the pure parental love of Nanda and Yashoda for Krishna will be saved from being dragged into material parental affection. If one accepts Krishna as the supreme friend, the attraction of material friendship will be finished for him, and he will not be dismayed by so-called friendship with mundane wranglers. If he is attracted by servitorship to Krishna, he will no longer have to serve the material body in the degraded status of material existence, with the false hope of becoming master in the future. Similarly, one who sees the greatness of Krishna in neutrality will certainly never again seek the so-called relief of impersonalist or voidist philosophy. If one is not attracted by this transcendental nature of Krishna, one is sure to be attracted to material enjoyment, thus to become implicated in the clinging network of virtuous and sinful activities, and to continue material existence by transmigrating from one material body to another. Only in Krishna consciousness can one achieve the highest perfection of life.
Very nice. Srila Prabhupada gave very nicely details. So particularly he gave a 5-point over here. I think you notice, or I think everyone has noticed that on this purport is a 5 notice are giving. This is actually medicine. And if you have a fever, you can get Tylenol. If you have a little stronger fever, then you take little heavy dose, ibuprofen. You have other disease, then you take this, then you take that. The Srila Prabhupads are giving about the transcendental love, whereas there is a no last. And on that, he gave a 5-point over here. So what is those 5 points he gave? He said that by understanding the conjugal love of Radha and Krishna, this is the first point are given. By understanding the conjugal love of Radha and Krishna, one is freed from the grip of attraction to material, so-called love between men and women. So this is the first point, how the man and woman could understood what is the meanings of love. So then they have to know about the love of Radha and Krishna. And the second points are mentioned in Srila Prabhupada about knowing to understand the pure parental love of Nanda and Yashoda for Krishna will be saved from being drugged into material parental affection. So that's the second point. So over here, very nicely, that's now have to be understand about the relationship between parents and Lord Krishna as Nanda and Yashoda and Lord Krishna, how the connections are there. And then the third point, Srila Prabhupada's mentioned over here, okay, one accepts Krishna as the supreme friend. The attraction of material friendship will be finished for him, and he will not be dismayed by so-called friendship with a mundane wanderers. So we can see Srila Rupa Goswami used to say, my dear friend, if you really love your friend and family member, do not come to Vrindavan. Do not come to Vrindavan. Because there is a danger point. If you come to Vrindavan, then you will be finished, completely finished. Your all affection, all arrangement for your friendships, everything will go away. Now, by chance you enter to the Vrindavan, you make sure don't go to Keshi Ghat and said, by chance, by mistake, if you even reach to Keshi Ghat, do not see on the up, on Keli Kadamba tree, the naughty boy are sitting on the branches playing on a flutes. Do not see him, because his flute sound is not bring the actually cool-minded or bring very nice atmosphere. That sound will be destroy everything. And what is that? Your all material connection. All material bondage will be destroyed. That's why, my dear friends, who really want to enjoy in this material world and want to suffer, please do not come to Vrindavan. So that's why, if we know the friendship of Lord Krishna, our material friends will go away. And even in in our life, we can see that when you're doing your study in universities, you might have a lot of friends, and when you have friends with the Krishna, came to know about ISKCON, and then try to follow, then you're going to say, oh, no, I don't want to go to his house. If I go to his house, there is not good food. You know what? He follow to this ISKCON, and what ISKCON people eat? Nothing. This is not the item what they're looking for. So friends will go. See, if you see the Krishna, friends will go. But you will get the good friends, whose friends are helpers to go back to Godhead. So that's why over here, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami bring this verse and Srila Prabhupada explaining to having an understanding about Lord Krishna and his pastime. many people have a confusion. Many people misreact and mispreach to everywhere. And Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they say he had to come in this earthly planet personally to teach people what is the ultimate truth. So that's why Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came in this earthly planet, which is also one of the eternal reason to come in this earthly planet, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We hear about the external region, because this one is a confidential region for the Lord's appearance. That's the chapter name. So this is all the confidential region. This one is hidden. Not only the one is like deliver the fallen soul. There's many things you have to establish. As you know, as mentioned, Jada Jadahi Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharata Abduthanam Tadatmanam Adbhuthanam Adharmasham Tadatmanam Sajam Maham. So he came for many reasons and reestablished the Dharma. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also did that also. That time the Brahmanas, many so-called Vaishnavas are going, here and there, and they're not doing properly. They're not behaving properly. They're not preaching properly. They're not following all the rules, regulations properly. So that's why Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami bring this verse over here. Any questions on this verse, particularly on this verse? Ramanujan Prabhu, you want to give some more details?
Prabhuji, you explained so wonderfully. I really like the sentence Prabhupada mentioned after saying the whole purport. At the last sentence, which he summarized the whole purport. Only in Krishna consciousness, one can achieve the highest perfection of life. So no one can achieve by doing the pious activities, some ritual activities, but just by following the Krishna consciousness, one can make actually perfection in their lives.
All right. Thank you. Okay, go to the next verse.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Harita.
Prabhu, can you explain the point 5, Santaras, in detail?
Okay. So over here, Shantorash. Ramanujan Prabhu gives some explanation on the Shantorash, then I will add something.
Prabhuji, can I read in Hindi? And I think Ram Hanuman Prabhuji and Mataji logged off. I don't see them.
No,
They are there. Okay, they are there.
Yeah, there, yeah. Yeah, okay. You read in Hindi about the Shantarashas is there.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
इसी प्रकार जो शांत रस तटस्थ अवस्था में कृष्ण की महानता का दर्शन करता है, उसे निर्विशेषवादी या शून्यवादी दर्शन की तथा कथित मुक्ति की आवश्यकता नहीं होती। यदि वो कृष्ण की दिव्य प्रकृति द्वारा आकर्षित नहीं होता है, तो फिर वो भौतिक भोग द्वारा अवश्य आकृष्ट होगा और पाप तथा पुण्य कर्मों के बंधन में पड़कर एक शरीर से दूसरे शरीर में देहांतर करता हुआ भौतिक जगत में बना रहेगा। That is what it is written.
Yeah. So in a Shantarashas, as we know, Shakha, Dasya, Shanta, Vatsalya, Madhur. So Shanta, one of the very, very, nice and sweetest rasa of the Krishna Bhakti. Because only in the Shanta Rasas, Shantas is always very cool, cool-minded, completely cool. Do you know who is the ambassador of the Shanta Rasa? Rita?
No, Prabhu.
No?
No.
Okay, let me hear. Rachana Mata, do you know who is the ambassador of Shanta Rasa?
No, Prabhuji. No idea.
Okay, let's do from beginning. So, who is the ambassador of the Shakha Rasa?
Sakhya Arjun.
Shakha Rasa is a Arjun.
Mm.
Okay, who is the ambassador of Dasya Rasa?
Dasya Rasa is Hanumanji.
Dasya is a Hanuman. Shanta, you don't know. Who is the ambassador of Madhur Rasa?
Rādhārāṇī.
And who is the ambassador of Vatsalya Rasa?
Ma Devaki, Nanda Baba, Vasudev, Yashodama.
Okay. Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj are mentioning here. They are the Vatsalya ambassador. So, Ram Hanuman Prabhu, who is the ambassador of Shanta Rasa? You are mute, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. I'm talking and thank you for telling me that. What was the question, Prabhu?
Who is the ambassador of Shanta Rasa?
Ambassador of Shanta Rasa.
Bhishma Dev, Prabhuji. Bhishma Dev. Bhishma Pitama. I'm just.
Pitamaha?
No?
Think.
Amrish Maharaj.
Yes.
Oh.
Shanta Rasa's ambassador is Maharaj Amrish.
Maharaj Amrish, okay.
पता नहीं मुझे कहाँ से आया.
Because is mentioning, how when that Durvasa Rishi came day of Dwadashi, that story, no?
Yes.
So how even he was so angry, Durvasa Rishi, and he want to kill Maharaj Ambarish. Maharaj Ambarish is completely cool, surrendered, whatever, might be my mistake. The Shantarashas have completely pulled down on his mind. Even any difficulties, anything's come in front of him, he didn't, send his mind here and there. He constantly focus on the one spot, and that's the whatever Krishna want, Krishna will take care of it. So we
surrender, like complete faith in Krishna.
Completely surrender. So that's why he's mentioning that on Shanta Rasas, the very important Rasas, Srila Prabhupada are mentioning, even if you're staying in a Shanta Rasas, Shanta Rasas are not in that much with, doing the yagna, doing this, doing that. They're not doing that much. They are on just completely serving to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and engage themselves 100% to Lord's and Lord's devotees service. So by that, Krishna enjoy that devotee. As Krishna enjoy to getting, wrestling with his devotee, Krishna enjoy to accept service from his devotee. Krishna enjoy to, having a parents to chastising him. He enjoy that too. But at the same time, the Shanta Rasas also Krishna enjoy a lot. And that's what Srila Prabhupada are mentioning here. By following as Shanta Rasas, you will go back to Godhead. So ultimately, Avashya Rokhive Krishna Vishasha Paran. That Krishna will be take care of me. There is no doubt about it. So this is the descriptions of Shanta Rasas. Does it make sense, Rita?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. You explained so nicely.
we want to hear from Ram Hanuman Prabhu, but Ram Hanuman Prabhu was suddenly he disappeared, and we lost him from.
Yeah, Prabhu, I got disconnected.
Yeah. Okay. So we can go to the next verse. Ram Hanuman Prabhu, you want to read this verse? 36.
36. Ye vancha ye che Kṛṣṇa prakatya karna asura samhara anusanga priyojana.
Next one also is together.
Ye mata Chaitanya Krishna Purna Bhagwan Yuga Dharma Parvartana Nahe Tanra Kama.
Very nice, Prabhu. Very nice.
Translation.
Just a second. So, Ei vancha joise Krishna prakata karan asuro sangharo anu sango prayojan. Ei mata Chaitanya Krishna Purna Bhagavan Yuga Dharma Pravartana Nahe Tarakam. Translation. Yes, Prabhu.
Just as these desires are the fundamental reason for Krishna's appearance, whereas destroying the demons is only an incidental necessity. So for Sri Krishna Chaitanya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, promulgating the dharma of the age is incidental.
It's clear. This is mentioning that the Krishna appear in Dwapar Yugas. Not only killing the demon, because that's not a primary. The demon killing is not a primary. The similar way, the Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was a Krishna himself, and who appeared this age of Kali, is not for the establishing the Yuga Dharma. That's not the primary. That's the secondary. The secondary option that Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and establishing the Yuga Dharma. And we know the Yuga Dharma, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is establishing. What is the Yuga Dharma Chaitanya Mahaprabhu establishing? Mayank Prabhu, what do you think?
Sankirtana movement.
Sankirtan movement, right. So that Sankirtan movement is a Yuga Dharmas, and is mentioning that this Yuga Dharma, this is actually a connecting, that's not the primary. Before that we hear, he came for Sankirtan movement. Excuse me. Now we hearing the Sankirtan movement is a connecting, is not a primary. We will hear more about. So what is the primary then? কোন কারণে যবে হইল অবতারের মন যুগ ধর্ম কাল হইল সেকালে মিলন কোন কারণে যবে হইল অবতারে মন যুগ ধর্ম কাল হইল সেকালে মিলন Translation, Shaista Mata.
When the Lord desired to appear for another reason, the time for promulgating the religion of the age also arose. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you. So, in Bengali, there is a one Prabhat Bhakya. What's called in Prabhat, Rita? Prabhat English ki bolbe? Example? It's not example actually.
Kind of moral type sentence like that.
Moral type sentence. So in Bengal, we used to say, Prabhupada also mentions many times. Rod dekha kola becha, dui kaj ekotre koribe. Means when you go, you're going to some festival. It's a chariot festival. And where is the chariot festival take place? There is so many people gathering together. So now you're a businessman. It's not a businessman actually. You are just a normal people, and you do farm. You have a bananas in your house. And there's excess bananas you have. In the old days, you know, they used to take those bananas to sell in a market. Now, when it's like there is a carnivals, over there you will get a good price. So the person said, you know, I'm going to see chariot festival. Let me take some banana to sell there. So he carries some bananas. He take part of the Prathi Jatra, and at the same time, he sat there for a 10 minutes and he sell his banana and he earned some money. He did in the one shot boat work he done. So he seeing the Rath Yatra and he doing his business also. The same way, when the Lord was planning to appear in these earthly planets, and some regions, that time the Yuga Dharma, the Yuga also merged, and he appeared on that time. So both came together, and that's why Lord called the double happiness and got the double opportunity to establish his name. So that's his mentioning over here that, you know, when the Lord desired to appear for another region, desiring to for another region, but at the same time, the other region also come and merge together, and he enjoyed that. Dui hetu avatare loya bhaktagan aponi ashwade prema nama sankirtan. Rita, do you have a English papers open in front of you, or you have the Bengali books?
Prabhu, I can only read translation, not purport.
Yeah, translation in English.
Yes.
Okay.
39.
Right.
Thus, with two intentions, the Lord appears with his devotees and tasted the nectar of prema with the congregational chanting of the holy name.
So that's why that Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahāprabhu appeared with his all devotee, and he getting taste of congregational chanting of the holy name.
Prabhu, what are
Shade-
those?
Sorry, Prabhu?
Yeah, I was reading it. Sorry. It says, thus with two intentions. What are those two intentions?
There's two intentions. The Lord appeared with his devotee and tested. So that's the two intention. One, he appeared with his devotee. The first intention was he came, and suddenly the other things came through. Now he needed many people because he can't. If he do alone, he will not going to get happiness. So he need his associate. So that's why he brought his associate. And the second, he doing with congregational chanting, and he getting happy. So coming with devotee, says me, you know, in Narottam Das Thakur's writing a song, Shopar Shada Shio Dhama Shaho Avatari. Shopar Shad, he came with his all associate, and also same times he bring all the holy earth, holy place, holy dham. So that's why the Parshad also is the one intention, and the holy name is the other intention. As I said, the two intentions.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay. Thank you. Sheidare Achandale Kirtana Sanchare Nama Premo Malagathi Porailo Sanshare Sheidare Achandale Kirtana Sanchare Nam Premo Malagathi Porailo Sanshare. Rachana Mata, translation please. Are you there, Rachana Mata?
Ji Prabhuji, which sloka am I?
We are in Sloka 40.
Sloka
Translation.
40. So Prabhuji, I need to read the Hindi or English?
English, read in English.
English, okay.
Come here.
Sorry, Prabhuji, I'm going.
You're picking up. Yeah, taking the literatures. That's why.
Hindi, yes, now it came. It came. Okay, Prabhuji. Thus he spread kirtan even among the untouchables. He wore a wreath of a holy name and prem, with which he garlanded the entire material world.
This so that's the two things when he bring with his devotee and bring the holy name, and then what he did, then he distributing that holy name. Not only he is distributing to checking who are eligible and who's not. So if we take the eligible personalities, then you have to go to the who is the pure Vaishnava, pure devotee. Only will give them, the name, give it to them only. But in India, there is a many places what they said, oh no, this holy name you cannot give to publicly. And I said, oh, ISKCON, what ISKCON doing? ISKCON giving this holy name publicly to everyone. Holy name you cannot chant loudly. Said if you chant loudly, your all Purna karmas will go. Imagine what kind of philosophy they used. Chaitanya Mahāprabhu, who came in this, bring these mantras, and who actually said, not only is like a caste he is saying, not even he was saying the timing. There is not a morning, noon, evening, night, midnight. He said, distribute this name in any time and chant this name is any time. And he make a garland with the holy name. Garland with the holy name and distributing to everyone's neck. That's the Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associate. And that's why he came as form of devotee, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The next verse are coming, connecting with that very nice verse, verse 41. এই মত ভক্ত ভাব প্রিয়ঙ্গিকার আপনি আচরিয়া ভক্তি করিল প্রচার এই মত ভক্ত ভাব করি অঙ্গীকার আপনি আচরিয়া ভক্তি করিল প্রচার. Translation, Mayank Prabhu, translation please.
Sure, Prabhu. In this way, assuming the sentiment of a devotee, he preached devotional service while practicing it himself.
Very
Hare
nice.
Krishna.
Okay. Manoram Prabhu, purport. Very
Purport,
special
purport.
purport from very special person's mouth.
Nahi, Prabhu, aisa nahi hai. When you said the special mouth, you are the very special person, and I'll tell you why. That reminded me when you were reading this verse, and especially reading the second half of the second line, which is Bhakti Karela Prachare. The way you said reminded me to Mayapur when I went to Mayapur, and after the Mangal Aarti, they do the announcement. The announcement, one of them is in English, and then it's in Bengali. The Bengali announcement is so sweet, and you actually pronounce the same way this verse. So that reminded me Mayapur.
Thank you.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hey.
When Rupa Goswami met Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Prayagraj, Allahabad, he offered his respectful obeisances by submitting that Lord Chaitanya was more magnanimous than any other avatar of Krishna because he was distributing love of Krishna. His mission was enhance love of Godhead. In the human form of life, the highest achievement is to attain the platform of the love of Godhead. Lord Chaitanya did not invent a system of a religion, as a people sometimes assume. Religious systems are a system of religion, as people sometimes assume. Religious systems are meant to show the existence of God, who is then generally approached as the cosmic order supplier. But the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu transcendental mission is to distribute love of Godhead to everyone. Anyone who accepts God as a supreme can take the process of chanting Hare Krishna and become a lover of God. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya is the most magnanimous. This munificent broadcasting of devotional service is possible only for Krishna himself. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya is Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has taught the philosophy of surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One who has surrendered to the Supreme can make further progress by learning to love him. Therefore, the Krishna consciousness movement propagated by Lord Chaitanya is especially meant for those who are cognizant of the presence of the Supreme Godhead, the ultimate controller of everything. His mission is to teach people how to dovetail themselves into engagements of transcendental loving service. He is Krishna teaching his own service from the position of a devotee. The Lord acceptance of the role of a devotee in the eternal form of the Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is another of the Lord's wonderful feature. A conditioned soul cannot reach the absolute personality of Godhead by his imperfect endeavor. And therefore, it is wonderful that Lord Sri Krishna, in the form of Lord Gauranga, has made it easy for everyone to approach him. Swarup Damodar Goswami has described Lord Chaitanya as Krishna himself, with the attitude of Rādhārāṇī, or a combination of Radha and Krishna. The intention of Lord Chaitanya is to taste Krishna's sweetness in transcendental love. He does not care to think of himself as Krishna because he wants the position of Rādhārāṇī. We should remember this. A class of so-called devotees called the Nadia Grais or Gaura Nagrais pretend that they have the sentiment of gopis towards Lord Chaitanya, but they do not realize that he placed himself not as an enjoyer, Krishna, but as the enjoyed, the devotee of Krishna. The concoctions of unauthorized persons pretending to be a bona fide have not been accepted by Lord Chaitanya. Presentations such as those of Gaura Nagrais are the only disturbances to the sincere execution of the mission of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya is undoubtedly Krishna himself, and he is always non-different from Srimati Rādhārāṇī. But the emotion technically called Vipralambha Bhav, which the Lord adopted for confidential reasons, should not be disturbed in the name of service. A mundaner should not unnecessarily intrude into affairs of transcendence and thereby displease the Lord. One must always to be guarded, to be on the guard against this sort of devotional anomaly. A devotee is not meant to create disturbances to Krishna. As Srila Rupa Goswami has explained, devotional service is anukullena, or favorable to Krishna. Acting unfavorably towards Krishna is not a devotion. Kamsa was enemy of Krishna. He always thought of Krishna, but he thought of him as an enemy. One should always avoid such unfavorable so-called service. Lord Chaitanya has accepted the role of Rādhārāṇī, and we should support that position as Swarup Damodar did in Gambhira, the room where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed in Puri. He always reminded Lord Chaitanya of Radha's feeling of separation as they are described in Srimad Bhagavatam. And the Lord Chaitanya appreciated his assistance. But the Gaura Nagrais, who placed Lord Chaitanya in the position of enjoyer, and themselves as his enjoyed are not approved by the Lord Chaitanya or by Lord Chaitanya's followers. Instead of being blessed, the foolish imitators are left completely apart. Their concoctions are against the principles of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The doctrine of transcendental enjoyment of Krishna cannot be mixed up with the doctrine of transcendental feeling of separation from Krishna in the role of Rādhārāṇī. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, it's a huge purport and beautiful.
Yeah.
Prabhu, thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada's, always we see when this kind of qualities of the Vaishnavas come and qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godheads come, he always give a nice description about how we should be careful about Shahojiyas, and what the Shahojiyas do. Srila Prabhupada over here is mention about the Nadiya Nagari or Gaur Nagari. There is a Dwadash Apasampradayas, 12 Apasampradayas, where is my name are Aul, Baul, Nera, Neri, Shai, Darvesh, Jati Goshai, Kartavaja, Gaur Nagari, Shokhi Bekhi, Oti Bari, Churadhari. So this is the 12 Apasampradayas name. And those Apasampradayas, all Apasampradayas, they have a different qualities to commit offenses to Lord Lotus Feet. Everyone is committing offenses, and everyone is actually accumulating sin, making the nice path to go to the Adhalokas, go to the Lord planets. The Gaur Nagaris, particularly Nadiya Nagaris and Gaur Nagaris, actually they serve. How? They are Nagaris. Nagaris means a woman. So they are acting as they are all are women. They are all are women, and they are serving to Krishna. So Krishna can actually enjoy them, their meditations, and sometimes they kept their guru like a Krishna. Because Shastra said, Guru Krishna Rupai Shastrer Pramane, the Shastras are having the proofs that Guru is the Krishna himself. So Guru is the Krishna and all other is the Bhagya. So they serve to the Guru. That's why we can see those Gurus have many girlfriend, they are doing the Rasa Leelas. It's like imitating, as Srila Prabhupada mentioning. So those kind of personalities, they are actually contaminated in our society because of their mispraise the dharma. Doesn't have the understanding, and all that's way Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. And when Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he didn't actually, he is like a coming or show up in the character as like Lord Krishna. He came as a show up of character of Srimati Rādhārāṇī, the mood of servant of Srimati Rādhārāṇī, not even Srimati Rādhārāṇī, the servant of Srimati Rādhārāṇī. How can please to Lord Krishna? And Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's we have to be, very careful about that. And that's why Srila Prabhupada makes him, many places he mentioned, because this is the actually soft point of the human being, the religious. And so-called religious preacher, they actually hit that soft point and convert the human being a wrong path. That's why we have to be very, very careful. Ram Hanuman Prabhu, you want to add anything on this purport?
No, Prabhuji, you explained very wonderfully. Yeah, thank you. It's one thing is in purport, Prabhupada is mentioned very clearly that it's the intention, right? The person's intentions, what they are. An example Prabhupada gave is that Kamsa was thinking of Krishna, but his intention was not good.
Right.
So that explains that even though you're remembering Krishna, but you are not really remembering Krishna. Your intentions are wrong.
Yeah.
And same thing the Putana, right? Her
Yep.
intentions were different, but she remembered Krishna, but Krishna still accepted her as a mother. So those are the intentions are important.
Right. It's true. So yeah, one of the very important intention, and this intention even is, in Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we always say that our intention should be a clean. When we do in our Vaishnava etiquette courses, the etiquette of the Vaishnavas, intention, you're serving to Lord, what intention? So your intention, not like a kamsas, it's like you're cooking for Lord, but your intention, oh no, I have to go and someone is forcing me for cooking. So you're cooking, but your intention is not in cooking, actually you're thinking something else. So intention is very, very important. But both intention are workable. A good way or a different way. As the Kamsa's intention are given here. Even he thinking about Krishna in intention of enemy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, it is very nice point. Any other point we miss? Anyone I want to point out on this purport Srila Prabhupada gave? Okay, then we can go to the next verse. Dasya Shakho Vatsalvar Je Shingar Chari Premo Choturvidho Bhakto Yadhar Dasya Shakho Vatsallo Ar Je Shingar Chari Prem Choturvidho Bhaktoi Adhar. Okay, translation. Mahāprabhu, please.
Sure, Prabhu. 4 kinds of devotees are the receptacles of the 4 kinds of mellows in love of God, namely servitude, friendship, parental affection, and conjugal love. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So this is, as we just discussed before, Dasya, Shakho, Vatsalya, and Shringar as a Madhur. Next verse actually connecting with this verse. So let's go there. Nijo nijo bhava sabe seshto kori mani nijo bhave kore Krishna sukhavashadane. Nijo nijo bhava sabe seshto kori mane nijo bhave kore Krishna sukhavashadane. Translation, Ramanujan Prabhu.
Each kind of devotee feels that his sentiment is most excellent, and thus in the mood he tastes great happiness with Lord Krishna.
So this is the actually quality of the devotion, all right? Every areas, means which areas you are, that areas you're keeping the lords. The lords are happy only on this. You are not going here and there. Sometimes you are acting is like a dasha, sometimes you are acting like a shakha. It is mentioning, if you are a dasha bhaktas, stay on it. Stay on the path. Stay on the route path. Don't take a detour. You will be lost it. So that's why stay on your route, and then Krishna will be enjoy on your drive. So that's why nijo nijo bhav shabe shrestha kori mane is that everyone, each kind of devotees are feeling that his sentiments is the most excellent. So that's the bhava. Means is either a friendship, either a servitory, either a parental, or conjugal loves. Everyone are thinking on their way, does the best. And there is no, we cannot judge on it because every single Rasha that Krishna relish with them. তটস্থ হইয়া মনে বিচার যদি করি সবরস হইতে শৃঙ্গারে অধিক মাধুরী. Astamata, could you read the translation, please?
Sure, Prabhuji. But if we compare the sentiments in an impartial mood, we find that the conjugal sentiment is superior to all others in sweetness. Should I read the purport as well, Prabhuji?
Yes, yes, Mata, please.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. No one is higher or lower than anyone else in transcendental relationships with the Lord, for in the absolute realm, everything is equal. But although these relationships are absolute, there are also transcendental differences between them. Thus, the transcendental relationship of conjugal love is considered the highest perfection. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you. Ram Hanuman Prabhu, little bit of descriptions on this verse.
So in this verse, Prabhu, based on my understanding, it's emphasized on the conjugal love. Then it's considered to be the superior one out of those four that we had it read in the previous verse, which is servitude, friendship, parental affection, and conjugal love. So this verse indicates that the conjugal love is the highest one of them.
Okay, yeah. So in a transcendental way, as is Srila Prabhupada mentioning, there is no difference. There is no difference, but on a perfection of the love, a conjugal loves. So on these conjugal loves, it will be here even more, because this subject matter are very, very highly philosophical and have to have an understanding properly. As every time when we hear the conjugal loves, you have to always hear this conjugal love doesn't mess with a lusty desire, because on this love doesn't have any lust on this in this love. As we say, the unconditional love. In Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami is mentioning that Atmendriyo Priti Vancha Tare Bale Kam, Krishnendriyo Priti Vancha Dhare Premo Nam. Gopi Ganer Preme Nahi Nahi Ko Kamo Gandho. So whatever we do for our own satisfactions, so that's called the kama, that's called the lust. But we are serving to the Lord, pleasure of the Lord, that's called, excuse me, prema. Prema is unconditional love. And gopigans, the gopis, all the gopis show up that prema to Lord Krishna, where is no conditions are there. That's why you have to always think about this conjugal love, having the understanding that's actually in a highest platform. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhus, there is a very nice verse, just in next one, on 45. Jathatva ramasho shara visheshvalasha mayapi ratir vashanaya svad vibhashate kapikashva chet. Translation, Ramanujan Prabhu, please.
Translation: increasing love is experienced in various tastes, one above another, but that love which has the highest taste in the gradual succession of desire manifests itself in the form of conjugal love. Purport. This is a verse from Srila Rupa Goswami Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2.538.
This is just a supporting strong documents Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswamis are giving. All the conjugal loves are the above than all three. There's a conjugal love are the most special. অতএব মধুর রস কহিতার নাম সক্রিয়া পরক্রিয়া ভাবে দ্বিবিধ সংস্থান অতএব মধুর রস কহিতার নাম স্বক্রিয়া পরক্রিয়া ভাবে দ্বিবিধ সংস্থান. Rita, could you read the translation, please?
Therefore, I call it Madhur Ras. It has two further divisions, namely wedded and unwedded love.
Okay. So this Madhur Rasa is having, now we are hearing about the two form of the Rasas, Madhur Rasas. Prakriya as wedded and Parakriya unwedded. So let's see the next verse. Parakriya bhavevati rasara ullash brajabina iharo annatra nahi vas. Parakriya bhavevati rasara ullash brajabina ihar annatra nahi vas. Rachana Mata, could you read the translation, please? Okay, there is a great increase of mellow in the unwedded conjugal mood. Such love is found nowhere but in Braj. So this is this Parakriya Rasas are mentioning. Means it is not in the everywhere. You can get it. So only in Braj, these Parakriya Rasas, the Parakriyas or the Lord Krishna are manifested. ব্রজবধূ গণেরয়ে ভাবনিরবধি তার মধ্যে শ্রীরাধার ভাবেরয় অবধি পৌর নির্মল ভাবে প্রেম সম্পৃক্তম কৃষ্ণের মাধুর্য রস আস্বাদকারণ. Both translation, Mayank Prabhu, please.
Sure, Prabhu. This mood is unbounded in the damsels of Braj, but among them it finds its perfection in Sri Radha. Hare Krishna.
Next one also. 49.
Her pure, mature love surpasses that all of others. Her love is the cause of Lord Krishna's tasting the sweetness of the conjugal relationship.
Thank you. অতএব সেই ভাব অঙ্গীকার করি সাধিলেন নিজ বাঞ্ছা গৌরাঙ্গ শিহরে. Therefore, Lord Gauranga, who is Srihari himself, accept the sentiments of Radha and does fulfill his own desire. The huge purports are there. Ramanujan Prabhu.
Sure, Prabhu. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Of the four kinds of reciprocation of loving service, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya, Madhurya is considered the fullest. But the conjugal relationship is further divided into two varieties, namely Savakya and Prikriya. Savakya is the relationship with Krishna as formerly married husband, and Prikriya is the relationship with Krishna as a paramour. Expert analysts have decided that transcendental ecstasy of the prakya, mellow is better because it's more enthusiastic. This phase of conjugal love is found in those who have surrendered to the Lord in the intense love, knowing well that such illicit love with a paramour is not morally approved in society. The risk involved in such a love of Godhead make this emotion superior to the relationship in which such a risk is not involved. The validity of such risk, however, is possible only in transcendental realm. Savikya and Prikya, conjugal love of Godhead, have no existence in material world. And Prakya is not exhibited anywhere in Vaikuntha, but only in the portion of Goloka Vrindavan known as Vraj. Some devotees think that Krishna is eternally the enjoyer in Goloka Vrindavan, but only sometimes comes to the platform of Vraj to enjoy Prakya Rasa. The 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, however, have explained that Krishna's pastime in Vraja are eternal, like his other activities in Goloka Vrindavan. Vraj is the confidential part of the Goloka Vrindavan. Krishna exhibited his Vraj pastimes on the surface of this world. And similarly, pastimes are eternally exhibited in Vraj, in Goloka Vrindavan, where Prakya Rasa is ever existent. In the 3rd chapter of this epic, Srila Krishna Kaviraj Goswami has explicitly accepted the fact that Krishna appears in this material world at the end of the Dwapar age of the 28th Chaturyuga of the Vaishvata Manu, and brings with him his Vrajdham, which is the eternal abode of the highest pastimes. As the Lord appears by his own eternal potency, so he also brings all his paraphernalia by same eternal potency, without extraneous help. It is further stated here in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that the Prakya sentiment exists only in that transcendental realm and nowhere else. This highest form of ecstasy can exist only in the most confidential part of the transcendental world. But by the causeless mercy of the Lord, we can have a peep into that invisible Vraj. The transcendental mellow relished by the gopis in Vraj is super excellently featured in Srimati Rādhārāṇī. Mature assimilation of the transcendental humor of conjugal love is represented by Srimati Rādhārāṇī, whose feelings are incomprehensible even to the Lord himself. Let me read it again. This sentence is really sweet.
Yeah.
Mature assimilation of the transcendental humor of conjugal love is represented by Srimati Rādhārāṇī, whose feelings are incomprehensible. Even the Lord himself. The intensity of her loving service is the highest form of ecstasy. No one can surpass Srimati Rādhārāṇī in relishing the qualities of the Lord through his supreme transcendental mellow. Therefore, the Lord himself agreed to assume the position of Rādhārāṇī in the form of Lord Sri Gauranga. He then relished the highest position of Prakya Rasa as exhibited in transcendental abode of Vraja. Hare Krishna.
Very beautiful, very, very beautiful. So we hear that's why then Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahāprabhu appear. So this is the one thing is in the purport Srila Prabhupada also cleared out, that we are hearing about the Parakya Rashas. This Parakya Rashas is only in the Goloka Vrindavan's habit, not in here. And this Bhoma Vrindavan also is a part of the Goloka Vrindavan. Because of this, Bhoma Vrindavan is a part of the Goloka Vrindavan. On this Goloka Vrindavan is a Bhoma Vrindavan. The Lord Kṛṣṇa are doing that Parakya Rashas. And Sri Chaitanya Mahāprabhu accepting that Parakriya Rasas, to release that Rasas, to giving happiness to Lord Krishna. So what he did, he ultimately hide his own color. And he accept someone else's color. So he hide his color as a blue, and he accept the color of Srimati Rādhārāṇī, and came as a Gauranga Mahāprabhu. So because when he come as the color of Krishna, as a blue color, then he will become a bhokta, enjoyer. But he came as a form of Srimati Radharani's color, Anga Kanti. So then he can relish that rasha, that how all the gopis are relishing. So this is coming in the next verse. What is this mentioning from Pureshanam Durgam Gatirate Sanopanishadam Muninam Sharavashvam Pranata Patalinam Madhurimam Vinirasha Premano Nikhela Pushupalam Jyotresham Sachaitanya Kim Nepunaropi Drishvayashvate Padam. So a translation. Mahāprabhu, could you read the translation, please?
Sure, Prabhuji. Lord Chaitanya is the shelter of the demigods, the goal of the Upanishads, the be-all and end-all of the great sages, the beautiful shelter of his devotees, and the essence of the love of the lotus-eyed gopis. Will he again be the object of my vision? Hare Krishna.
Thank you. It was very nice. So the next verse we will just cover two more verse. Aparam, excuse me. Aparam kashvapi pranai jana vrindasya kutuke rasostomam ritva madhuram madhupavuktam kamapi jaha rucham samavare dute me hatadiyam prakatayam Shadevasya kriti ratitaram na krepayatuhu. Translation. Shayasta Mata. Translation, please.
Lord Krishna desired to taste the limitless nectate and mellows of the love of one of his multitude of loving damsels, Sri Radha, and so he has assumed the form of Lord Chaitanya. He has tasted that love while hiding his own dark complexion with her effulgent yellow color. May that Lord Chaitanya confer upon us his grace. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. It was very nice. So these both verses are taken from Prarthana of Sri Chaitanya Astakam. Stavamala by Srila Rupa Goswami. And these two verses are mentioning about these both verses are ultimately supporting documents of the before, why the Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came for the confidential reason. So the next one is mentioning now, Bhav Grahaner Hetu Koilo Dharma Sthapan, Tar Mukho Hetu Kohi Shuno Sarvajan. Bhav Grahaner Hetu Koilo Dharma Sthapan, Tar Mukshe Hetu Kohi Shuno Sarvajan. So now we are getting the point, the bottom of the point, until we hear about this Parakriya Rasas and Lord taking the form, and Gauranga Mahaprabhu's how he accepts Rādhārāṇī's color on his body. So on this verse, translation, Ramanujan Prabhu.
To accept ecstatic love is the main reason he appeared and reestablished the religious system of this for this age. I shall now explain that reason. Everyone, please listen.
So, accept the love is the main reason he appeared, and reestablish the religious system of this age. Now he will, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami will give the more descriptions about the main reason of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appear. So that's we'll hear on coming Saturday, as the time is almost going up on, it's almost 8 o'clock. So if any comments or adding or any questions are there, we can talk for 5 minutes and then we'll wrap up for today.
That is so nice to Prabhu in this chapter, confidential reasons. And in the very last verse we just read that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, actually, the main reason is for him to accept the ecstatic love. That's the main reason that he has appeared. And otherwise, sometimes one may think that the reason for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is to Nam Avatar, right? He distributed the holy name, and which is all devotee understand it, but this is kind of considered as a confidential listed here, that it's to accept the ecstatic love. That's the one of the reason for his appearance.
Yeah. Mayank Prabhu, after getting part of today's talk, what do you understood on a short way?
So probably I never knew the reasons why the secret of, like, why it was called secret avatar. So by reading today's session, right, all the verses from today's class, it makes sense, like why such avatar was taken and in what mood it was taken. So yeah, that was nice to learn. That was new for me. I mean, I had heard that like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in the mood of Rādhārāṇī, but like why and like details like that was missing. So it was nice to hear that today.
Jai. Shasta Mata?
Prabhuji, what I really liked about today's lecture was how we discussed all the bhavas and how people, devotees who are in different bhavas, even if they think that their bhava is the best bhava, they are in the best mood, but we learned that conjugal love is the most supreme bhavas of all. And also, I actually had this question, but before asking my question, you answered it. I was wondering if devotees can move from one bhava to another bhava, or they can have different bhavas at different times. But you explained very beautifully that you need to stick to one bhava, otherwise everything will be chaotic. So that was very beautiful. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Jai. Thank you. Parthajidda, on today's class, what did you learn something?
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Actually, it reminds me something. I read a book written by one of the disciples of Prabhupada. Mataji's name is Vishakha Mataji. She is now the president of Bhaktivedanta Manor, England. And Prabhupada one day went to a house of a non-devotee and like a grihastha, and they asked Prabhupada to discuss Rasalila. Then Prabhupada gave a very straightforward answer that you need to know the Srimad Bhagavatam. Chapter 10 is the feast of the Lord, and chapter 1 is the like the plague of the Lord. So you should come from the bottom to top, not from top to the bottom. You first read the Srimad Bhagavatam chapter 1 to 9, then you read the chapter 10. So that's why now I understand why it is so confidential. That means we need to know the Lord before we go there.
Thank you. Thank you. It was very nice. It was very nice. Rita.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yes, before I didn't know about the why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, the confidential reason. So I this was the main lesson from this class for me. Prabhu, can I share one thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
You told in this class about the Apo Sampradaya, so I came Bangladesh, so I heard about one Apo Sampradaya is called Kala Chad, black moon. So their philosophy is they call themselves Vaishnava, but they eat fish. Don't eat chicken or any other meat, but they eat fish. They do the Rasalila. They think themselves as a women, and Guru is the Kṛṣṇa.
Yeah, those the Kalachad Sampradayas is actually the Gaur Nagari.
Yeah.
The Kalachadi, they have a philosophy that Jiol Masher Jhol Jivoti Narir Kol Sarvajibe Hori Hori Bol. So that's the Gaur Nagari's philosophy. Sarvajibe Hori Hori.
Khaya magur mache jol mukhe bole hori bol.
Right.
Yeah.
So those the philosophy. They are the Gaur Nagari or Nadia Nagari. There's like most dangerous personalities.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I think in 1997, most probably, I was a book distributor team in a book distributor party, and it is in a North Bengal, somewhere in North Bengal. It is in evening time. We normally go out for distributing the books, selling the books from 10 o'clock in the morning, then 10 to 1, and then after 1 o'clock, normally in Bengal, there is a strategy. After lunch, they take a little nap. Bengal, Orissa, Assam, Meghalaya, Nagaland, all have same strategies. So technically that time in all store, even offices also is like, it's tiffin hours. It's completely, no one came in the front. So we also, come out from the market. We also, take a little rest, and then we have snacks. And after snacks, again, by 3 o'clock, we again go to the market back. And then, who have the areas to go to offices. So the second part of the preaching, the office's maximum time, in India's office, hardly 2 hours, 3 hours, there's office time. After 3 o'clock, people are going from the offices. So we normally cover to the, all the markets, store. People come to the market, we catch them and distribute book with them. So first part, we normally go to school, college, offices, a bank, a police station, police line, so all the governmental areas we go. So in the evening, I was actually went to one grocery store, and I said there is a couple of people out there. It's like almost 25 to 30 people around. One person is sitting, and by seeing that person, you can see this person is Shahojiya Guru. His huge, heavy duty body. Have the Shahojiya mark on the tilakas. So one of the person on the side, that person doesn't really like that Shauzia. So by, somehow by recently, that person actually called me. And I was a brahmachari, with a saffron cloth, distributed the books. So then that person said, if you talk with that huge guy, if you can defeat him, I promise I will take one Bhagavad set from him. There is a topic of Bhagavatam set. I have to defeat him.
Yeah.
Then he make an arrangement actually. I said, I can defeat him, but you know what? You can directly go and attack someone. You have to make the arrangement. You have to make that situation ready. So then I can get in. I said, okay, I can make that situation for you. So okay. He went there and he asked some questions to that guru, Shauzia Guru. And Guru are giving some answer, which answer is completely bogus. It's not from the Shastras. Now he was asking, you give the answer, there's answers have some proofs. It's from the particular source. Then the Shauja's gurus, they have only one thing. Do you know better than me? Do you know more than me? I know everything. Why you are, whatever I'm saying, just accept it. They said, no, I don't want to accept. Okay, let me see who can give the. Then he said, oh, there is a sadhu, saffron cloth. Let me call the sadhu. Then he called me. I came there. He asked me same questions. Then I gave answer, but the answer is completely different than the others. The guru gave. Now that person said, okay, you said this, but this sadhu said this. This one is right. Now I got a chance. That person asking me, then I said, okay, if you have a books, just open the page number. I can tell even the page number also, from where I get the answer. I can give you the text from Lord Krishna, what Lord Krishna said, what verses, what is the translations are given. Open the page and get the answer. But what you told, I hear from him. Give me some proof from somewhere, from where you got it. Okay, just leave it that. Just leave it that. Let me come in the beginning. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, are mentioning about, we are talking about the Guru Tattas. Then I said, that saying is like Jai Krishna Tattva Vitashay Guru. Whoever know about Krishna, he is the Guru. So now how you know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Give me some philosophy. You don't have to, use some word which doesn't have any head or toe. By your mental speculations, he can't speak. I need the authority. And authority is a scripture. And scripture means that's also not written by a, Ram, Sham, Jadu, Madhu. It's written by a Vasudeva. It's from the Veda, from the particular authorities. Almost 100 people came around. The market day, some people came and some people are, they're just, there is a two sadhus are fighting with the talking. One is a ISKCON sadhu and one is our guru. Almost 1 hour. I explained 1 hour because I have to give one Bhagavatam to him. 1 hour is validated. And then finally, I bring him that's, and you call is not a guru, it's called Guru. Guru means how many liter you give the milk. But Guru also give a milk. When his cow give a milk, but you can't even give a milk. So you are completely useless. You're completely useless. And this earthly planet is mentioning you are the actually dirt of our society. We need to swipe up from our society. So then our society can get clean. That person is completely stopped, shut down mouth, and not talking, not giving any answer, not talking anything. Now people said, give answer, give answer. What he asking, what Brahmachari asking, give answer. He stand up and he left. Then that person who promised that he will get Bhagavatam set, he take Bhagavatam set, and I distributed, I think, 27 Bhagavad Gita over there. And another 2 set of Chaitanya Charitamrita on that crowd. All people can take.
Haribol.
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 So that's where the things is like, those Shahujiyas, they don't have any philosophy. And there is like a Tale Bole, Haribo. Means whatever mix together, make a khichdi. So we have to be very careful on that.